always tell us that. Okay, Hare Krishna, everyone. Greetings. Welcome to Saturday Sanga, because it is Saturday, November 8th of November, 2025, by the, what is it, the Gregorian calendar, they call it. And we're in Mayapur. Oh, we're not all in Mayapur. I'm in Mayapur. At least the body is in Mayapur. And we also have some devotees here. Neshala.
I translate.
Yeah, that's good, but you'll need to, yeah, like that. Thank you. Yes, yesterday we met Neshala's father online. That wasn't very nice. He seems quite jolly.
Yeah, he is.
Okay, so let us jump into it. It is already evening here in Mayapur. The sun goes down already by this time. It's 5:30 here. All right. Om Ajnana-timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Svayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam. Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yukta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavangscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatam Vidam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhan Vitanscha Nama Om Vishnu Padam Krishna Pristaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swamin iti namine. Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Rishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priya Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. And one more time. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. And a verse from Sri Navadvip Shatakam, 100 verses glorifying Sri Navadvip. Since I'm in Navadvip, from Srila Prabodhananda Saraswati, in any case attributed to Prabodhananda Saraswati, translated by His Holiness Bhanu Swami. Okay, let's see. The first verse goes like this. Navadvipe Krishnam Purataruchiram Bhavavalitam Mridangādyāir yantrai Svajana Sahitam Kirtana param Sadopasham Sarvai Kalimalaharam Bhakta Sukadam Pajamastam Nityam Shravana Mananatyarchana Vidau. According to the rules of worship, by hearing, meditation, etc., I constantly worship Krishna, overcome with bhava, endowed with the complexion of gold in Navadvipa, engrossed means absorbed in kirtana with his associates, using mridangas and other instruments, who is always to be worshipped by everyone, who destroys the contamination of Kali, Kalimalaharam, and bestows the happiness of bhakti, bhakti sukadam. So it's a prayer of offering obeisance to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Gauranga Mahaprabhu, who is Krishna in Navadvip with a golden color. Let's see, Navadvipe Krishnam Purataruchiram Bhava Valitam. He's overcome with bhava. And Mridangādyāir yantrai. Interesting, it says yantra. Yantra can mean a tool or a device or a machine. So with mridanga, etc., tools, instruments, can also mean svajana sahitam, together with his own people, svajana, kirtana param, with kirtan as their focus, you could say. Sada upasyam sarvai kalimalaharam bhakta sukadam pajamastang nityam. Pajamas means pajamaha, we worship. Tam, him, who is nityam, who is eternal. Shravana manana adi archana vidhau. Following the vidhi, the rules of Shravana, Manana, etc., Archana. Okay, that's also interesting. That's not in the translation. Manana means thinking, reflecting. And in the Upanishads, I don't know which Upanishad, maybe Chandogya, is this formula, Shravana Manana Nididhyasana, as the means for realizing Brahman. And we usually don't hear about manana, but here it is, Shravana, Manana, Adi, Archana. So Adi could also mean nididhyasana, beginning with. Anyway, so Shri Gauranga Mahaprabhu ki jai. And speaking of Gauranga Mahaprabhu, we started reading and singing Lochandas Thakur's Chaitanya Mangala. And if you like, we can continue. We went through 16 verses of part 1, which is after a very long introduction, several hundred verses introduction. And we're reading about the anticipation of Gauranga Mahaprabhu's birth. And we read that Shachimata is now 6 months with child, as we say, pregnant. When the 6th month ended, the effulgence in Shachi's womb filled her body and her entire house with light. So this is echoing, if so to say, the description of Devaki with Krishna in the womb. Krishna had been transferred from Vasudev's mind to Devaki's mind, and from Devaki's mind, Krishna agreed to enter her womb. So it was what the Christians call an immaculate conception. So Sachi Devi is now 6 months pregnant. At that time, there was a wonderful event. What happened? Advaitacharya unexpectedly came there. Achambite, Advaita Acharya Ailatada. Achambite, surprisingly, unexpectedly. And then Jagannath Mishra was in the house. Suddenly he stood up, respectfully, it says. The word is sambrame. And we know this word from Brahma Samhita. Chintamani prakarasat masukalpa vriksha laksha vriteshu surabhir rapipalayantam Lakshmi sahasrashata sambrama sevyamanam Govinda Madhipurisham tamaham bhajami. So Govinda is worshipped as he who is worshipped, or more specifically served, sevya. How is he served? Sambrama, with great attention, but the idea is almost like being in a, how to say this, in a flustered way. Fluster means one is just so anxious to do everything right that maybe one is doing things wrong. One gets all mixed up. Because Brahma, it's from this Brahmara, Brahmana, Bhra, which means sort of wandering, can mean, I don't know, failure, can mean many things. In any case, sambrama, they're all excited. Who is excited? Lakshmi Sahasrashata, hundreds and thousands of Lakshmis. They're all so excited serving Govinda. And that's in that first prayer of Lord Brahma. So here also, Jagannath Mishra, the father of Mahaprabhu, Gauranga, is sitting at home. Ghare boshi ache Jagannatha Dvijavarya. He's the best of the Dvijas, of the second twice born. And Sambhrame Uttila, all excitedly, he stands up to receive Advaita Acharya. And then Advaita Acharya Gosai is the abode of all transcendental virtues in all the three worlds. No one is fortunate and glorious like him. That was verse 16. Now, let's see if I can share the screen. First, let me make sure I have everything here. Okay, that should work. And we go back here and share. And not showing. Yeah. Acrobat, reader, helper. That's not. We had this problem before. Why does it do that? I do not know. Oh, scroll down. Ah, okay. How's that? Everyone can see? Okay. So, text number 17. Dakimishra Purandara Badai Sambhrame Vashite Ashana Ani Dilen Apane. Seeing him, Jagannath Mishra respectfully offered a sitting place to his guest. Mishra Purandar, Jagannath Mishra is also called Purandar or Mishra Purandar. And again, the word Sambhrame is there, which is translated here as respectfully. Barai, I think this is Boro, which means great, and Boroi means very great. So with very great respect. Boshite asana ani dilen apone. So ani would be bringing, asana is asana, a seat, and boshite, to sit. Dilen, he gave himself, apone, I think. So he himself, Jagannath Mishra, himself offered or gave, having brought ani, having brought a seat, he gave him something like that. Charoner dhuli laila mashtaka upar shamrame acharya koila vinoy bistar. On his own head, he placed the dust from Advaita Acharya's feet. He was very humble and respectful. So, of course, Advaita Acharya was, at that time, the very senior Vaishnava of the area of Navadvip and Shantipur. And he was physically much elderly, And he was, yeah, just very highly respected as a, you could say, a quite orthodox sort of, he was a kind of embodiment of orthodox Vaishnava Brahmin behavior, I would say like that. And that is why it will be very surprising, even shocking for many people of the time when Advaitacharya honors Haridas Thakur when he is performing, Advaitacharya was performing the Shraddha rituals, the rituals for departed persons. And the ritual prescribed that after the offerings are made to the deceased person, then the prasad goes to brahmanas. And Advaitacharya, what does he do? After he makes the offering, he turns around and Haridas Thakur is there. He offers the first plate to Haridas. What a shock. He's not a Brahmin. He's coming from a Muslim family, so that we understand. Anyway, so Advaitacharya is highly respected. That's the point. Choranir dhuli loila. He took loila, the dhuli, the dust of the feet, charanera dhuli. What did he do with it? Mastaka upar. Mastak means the head, and upar means the top. So he took it on the top of its head. And text 19, Pada prakshalane jala dila shachi devi shachidaki sombrame uttila anuragi. Shachi Devi washed Advaitacharya's feet with water. As she respectfully gazed at her, no, that should be he. As he respectfully gazed, wait a minute, which is which? As she respectfully gazed at him, which is which? No, I think as he respectfully gazed at her, Advaitacharya felt ecstatic spiritual love arise within himself. Okay, so Advaitacharya is, yeah, and that's what's going to come. He's going to show a lot more respect to Sachi Mata, and both she and Jagannath Mishra are going to get very confused. How is this? What's going on? So, pada prakshalane. Prakshalana literally means sprinkling. It's a form of purification. You invoke Ganga water into a patra, into a container, and you may then take that water and do achamana, and you may also sprinkle the water on items that you will then offer to Krishna. And that sprinkling is a way of purifying. So, pada prakshalane, jala dila Sachi Devi. So Sachi Devi dila gave water in sprinkling the feet, literally. Which is, I think, also interesting. Sachi Devi, as a lady, is doing, padyam, we might also say. Oops. And then Sachideki, Shamrame Uttila Anuragi. Again, Sambrame And here I think such is the object deki. So anuragi is referring to Advaitacharya. And utila means arose. There arose strong emotion, anuraga, in the person having anuraga, anuragi. I'm not 100% sure because Sachi Devi and anuragi, that would make her the one who is the anuragi. So who is looking at whom? As she respectfully gazed at him. Okay, that makes sense then. Don't mind, I'm thinking aloud. That makes sense. Sachi Devi is washing the feet and she's respectfully gazing at Advaitacharya. But then the translation is saying Advaitacharya felt ecstatic spiritual love arise within himself. And that makes sense to me also, especially with what's going to come in the following verses. So I think we do have to say as he. It could still be either way, as she respectfully gazed at him or as he respectfully gazed at her. But I think it has to be as he respectfully gazed at her. It just seems to fit more the context. Okay. Anurage ranga dui kamala lochana bhashva jhala mala anki aruna varana. His two lotus eyes, should be eyes, became red with ecstatic love. So ranga means red and dui means two. Kamala lochana, lotus eyes. Anurage, in ecstatic love. Tears flowed from his eyes. Bhashva jalamala, his face became red. Anki aruna vadana. Okay, so vadana would be the face, and aruna is also red, and it's the red of the rising sun. And anki, yes, usually would be eyes, so red-eyed. But I don't know, Bhashva Jalamala Anki Aruna Varana. It would seem a little strange to me to have that he has a red face. Why would he have a red face? It makes more sense that he has red eyes. And Vadana, I want to say would be speech. But what do I know? Let's keep going. Shakampa 21. Shakampa adara gadgara kanta shara dharite napare anga kare talamala. His limbs trembled. Shakampa. He spoke broken words. Adara gadgara. Adara, I think it means the lower lip, but it applies in general to both lips. Adara gadgara. He had no power to restrain himself. Kanta means the throat. So, and swara is sound. Darite napare anga kore talamala. So I looked up talamala, And you can see here it says restlessness or being on the verge of tumbling, as in tumble means to fall down. So some sort of intense feeling. And dharite, not able to restrain, napare, not able. Anga kore tolamala, his limbs, that's not translated here. His limbs were maybe also, well, okay, sakampa. Anga kare tolamala sakampa, maybe that's how it's applied. Trembling limbs. 22, Shachi production kare paranama chamakita shachi devi daki avidan. So here it goes. Again, there's a mistake here. It should say he circumambulated, not her circumambulated. So he circumambulated Shachi, and then he bowed down before her. Seeing these unusual activities, Shachi was very surprised. So Shachi pradakshina, circumambulating Shachi, kari, doing that, kare, paranama is just a little bit stretched out the word pranama for the sake of the meter for chanting. Chamokita, like chamatkar, chamokita, surprised. Shachi Devi Daki. Avidan, avidana means not prescribed. Vidhi means rules, like vidhi nishedha. Vidhi means what you should do. Nishedha means what you should not do. But here it's avidhana, what's not prescribed. She, Sachidevi, sees Advaitacharya, who is understood to be senior to her in so many ways. Now what is he doing? He's circumambulating her. And so she's chamatkar, chamakita. Very surprised. 23, Jagannath sasandeha shachi savismita ki kara bole hridaye dukkita. Sachi was surprised and Jagannath Mishra was full of doubt. Unhappy at heart, he said, why do you do this? Why? So Jagannatha sa sandeha, with sandeha, which sandeha means doubt, and sa with doubt, Shachi sa vismita, and Sachi was with surprise. And then Jagannath says, ki koro, ki koro. What are you doing? Hridaye dukkita, because he feels sad or unhappy in his heart. Hridaye, in the heart. Dukkita is, I think, unhappiness or, misery, some kind of discomfort, unhappiness in the heart. And Jagannatha bole shuno acharya gosai tomar charitra keho bhujivare nai. Jagannath Mishra said, please hear, O Advaita Acharya, I do not understand your actions. So Jagannath Bole, he says, Shuno. Acharya Gosai, listen, O Acharya Goswami, Tomar Charitra, your behavior, keho, why, how, bhuji bare nai, cannot, is not understood, bhuji bare, bhujta, bhujana is to understand. Daya kari kaha jari, guchaha sandeha, naheva echinta agni puraive deha. If you are kind to me, then please dispel my doubt. Do not allow my body to burn in the flames of worry. So daya, of course, means mercy. Kori, doing mercy, making mercy. Kaha, tell. This is the imperative. Please tell. And jadi is if. So if you have mercy, if you make mercy. Guchaha is again imperative. Dispel, throw away, get rid of. Sandeha, doubt. Naheva chinta agni, chinta agni, this fire of worry, the flames of worry. Naheva, or else the flames of worry, the fire of anxiety, pudaibe deha. So deha is body, pudaibe, I guess, will burn. So if you don't clear this doubt, then my body, not just my mind, but my body is going to burn from this fire of anxiety. So we can imagine Jagannath Mishra is seriously concerned what's going on, because this is not, it's not standard behavior, not proper, I don't want to say proper etiquette for Advaitacharya, but it's just not protocol, we would say. 26, and I think you don't mind, we'll go through 32. 26, Acharya kahaye shuno mishra purandar janibe shakala pache kahila uttar. So the Acharya, Advaitacharya, said, please hear, O Jagannath Mishra, Shuno Mishra Purandar, in the future you will understand it all. That was his reply. So Janibe, you will know, you will understand. Shakala, everything. Pache. Pache means after or later. I think it would be the same in this context as present-day Bengali pore, afterwards. Kahila uttar, that was his reply. Uttara is answer. He spoke this answer. Pulakita shaba anga janiya sandarbha ganda chandanete puje shachya shiga. Okay, this is very interesting. Then Advaitacharya learned in all the scriptures, and the hairs on his body erect. anointed Sachi's glorious womb with fragrant sandal paste. So Pulakita, his whole body, the hairs were standing on end in ecstasy. Janiya Sandarbha, knowing Sandarbha, knowing scripture. Ganda Chandanete Puje, so worshipping with chandan and fragrance, or fragrant chandan, ganda chandan. What did he do? He worshipped Sri Sachi's womb, Sri Garbha. And it's translated here, he anointed Sachi's womb with fragrant sandal paste. Now, you and I might be a little surprised at this. He is a man, she's a woman. He is not her husband. But I think the idea is he's so respected and he's so senior that it's completely appropriate for him to do this. And he's, of course, being completely respectful as he's putting sandalwood paste on her stomach, apparently. So imagine how surprised Jagannath Mishra and Sachimata are now. Sata pradakin kore kare kore paranam kichuna kohila gela aponarastan. 7 times he circumambulated her, then he bowed down. He said nothing. Then he left for his own home. So Sata Pradakshina, 7 times circumambulating, Kori, doing that. Kore Paranama, he offered obeisance. Kichuna Kahila, he didn't say anything. Gela Aponar Stan, he went, Gela Aponar, to his own stan, his own place. He didn't say a word, he just got up and left. Eta shachi jagannata mane anumane mor garba bandhana korila ki karane. Shachi and Jagannath wondered, why did he bow down before my womb? Eta, I think, is like in Sanskrit, ataha. And so, Sachi Jagannath mane anumane, in the mind, anumane, they reasoning, they try to, understand the logic. More Garbha Vandana, so now Sachi must be speaking, more Garbha Vandana Korila. Ki karane, karane means cause. In the cause, I guess, what, and ki is the question word, what cause did he do this? Korila, past tense, more Garbha Bandhana. Why did he worship my womb? Acharya Gosai Koila Garbhera Bandhana Shottaguna Teja Sachi Pashare Apona. In this way, Advaitacharya bowed down before Sachi's womb. Now her womb became 100 times more effulgent. Sachi forgot herself. Acharya Gosai Koila Garbhera Bandhana, that's clear. Shataguna Teja, 100 times the effulgence, Sachi Pashare Apona. Sachi herself, so I looked up pasaran. It's all I could find was pasarana, which means something like forgetting. Let me check. Where did I find that? Oh, I may not be able to find it now. Here. Yeah. I don't know if you can see this, but anyway, it's from Pasharana. And it says Vismarana. So forgetting. Pasharana. And then it says Draha, and I don't know what that's all about. Okay. So then Pasharana, so Sachi is really bewildered now. And at the same time, her womb is shining 100 times what it was before. Shava Shukamoy Dekke nan dekkaye dukko Sharva Devagana Dekke Apana Shanmukko. She saw that everything was full of bliss. She saw no suffering. She saw all the demigods were now standing before her. Interesting. So Shava Shukamoy, everything is full of happiness. Dekke, seeing this, na dekkaye dukkha. She didn't see any dukkha. Sharva Devagan, all of the devas, gana is collective. Deva is maybe one deva, and then devagana means all the devas, or a group of devas. Dekke apana shanmukha. Shanmukha is in front, apana, herself. And then the last one for today, Brahma, Shiva, Shuka, Adi, Jota, Devagan, Udara, Shanmukhe, Shave, Koraye, Stavana. Brahma, Shiva, Shanak, and all the demigods now offered prayers to her womb. So, of course, this may also remind us of the appearance of Lord Krishna. In my little group of Sanskrit readers, we just finished reading chapter 2, canto 10, commentaries of Sridhar Swami and Sanatana Goswami. And these are the prayers of the devas. And it's interesting. We found it interesting that the devas offer several prayers to Krishna, to the Lord, and then only at the very end, they address Devaki, and they say, Devaki, you have nothing to worry about. But then the commentators say, actually, they were always, they were constantly glorifying Devaki. But yeah, the Bhagavatam, sometimes we can see it's summarizing pastimes. Okay, so then stop share now. Let me just see. It would be good if we had the transliteration available otherwise than sharing screen, only because then I don't have to scroll so much while singing. But I guess we don't have it this time. Okay, so music on. I'm going to have to pause a little bit a few times. Okay, 17, we can make this like this. Can everyone see through text 20?
No, just the, yes, now we can see.
Okay. All right, shall we try this? Singing? Anyone? Yes. Deki Mishra Puranda Vadai Sambrame Vasite Aswanda Anitilena Apane Deki Mishra Puranda Vadai Sambrama Vasite Aswanda Anitilena Apane Charane Dhuli Loyla Mastaka Upa Sambrame Acharya Koyla Vinaya Vista Charane Dhuli Loyla Mastaka Upa Sambrame Acharya Koyla Vinaya Vista Ada Prakala Nejala Dila Sachi Devi Shachidaki Sambrame Utilanuragi Ada Prakala Nejala Dila Sachi Devi Shachidaki Sambrame Utilanuragi Anuragi Rangadui Kamala Locha Bashpachalam Malla Anki Aruna Bharana Anuragi Rangadui Kamala Locha Bashpachalam Malla Anki Aruna Bharana Sakampa Adhara Dagad Kantaswa Darite Na Pare Anga Kore Talamala Sakampa Adhara Dagad Kantaswa Darite Na Pare Anga Kore Talamala Sachi Kadakina Kari Kare Karana Chamakita Sachi Devi Daki Avidana Sachi Kadakina Kari Kare Karana Chamakita Sachi Devi Daki Avidana Jagannatha Sasandeha Sachivit Savismita Kikara Bole Hridaya Dakita Jagannatha Sasandeha Sachisuvismita Kikara Bole Hridaya Dakita Jagannatha Bole Shuna Acharya Gosaya Tamara charitra kheha ujivare nai. Jagannatha bole shuna acharya dosai. Tomara charitra kheha ujivare nai. Daya kari kaha jadi guchaha sandeha. Naheva echinta agni punaiveha. Daya kari kaha jadi guchaha sandeha. Naheva echinta agni punaiveha. Acharya kaha yeshuna mishapuranda. Janive shokhala bhaje kahila uta. Acharya kaha yeshuna mishapuranda. Janive shokhala bhaje kahila uta. Pulakita shava anga janiya sandava. Gandha chandanete puje shachira shrigarbha. Pulakita shava anga janiya sandava. Gandha chandanete puje shachira shrigarbha. Sata pradakina kori kore paranna. Kichuna kahila gela apanarastan. Sata pradakina kori paranna. Kichuna kahila gela apanarastan. Eta sachi jagannatha mane anumane. Mora garbha vandana kori alaukikāḥ. Eta sachi jagannatha mane anumane. Mora garbha vandana kori alaukikāḥ. Acharya Gosai koila garbhera vanda. Shataguna teja shachi bhasareya. Acharya Gosai koila garbhera vanda. Shataguna teja shachi bhasareya. Sabha sukhamay dekhe na dekhaye dukha. Sarvadeva ganna dekhe apana sanmukha. Sabha sukhamay dekhe na dekhaye dukha. Sarvadeva ganna dekhe apana sanmukha. Brahma Shiva Shukla Adi Jatadeva Gāyanty. Udara Shanmukhe Shave Koraye Savana. Brahma Shiva Shukla Adi Jatadeva Gāyanty. Udara Shanmukhe Shave Koraye Savana. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna, Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare Bol, Hare Bol, Hare Bol, Bol, Hare Bol, Nitya. Srila Lochandas Thakur ki jai. Advaitacharya ki jai. Shri Sachimata ki jai. Shri Gauranga Mahaprabhu ki jai. It's of course significant that it's Advaitacharya who's coming and making this worship of Sachigarbha, because it is Advaitacharya who had prayed for Gauranga Mahaprabhu's appearance. He had worshipped the Lord very intensely, begging him to appear, to bring the Yuga Dharma and to bring Krishna, Krishna Prema to the world. Right, okay, now let's come back here to, again, welcome all of you who have joined later. Thank you all for joining us, as always. And yeah, it's a little different for me now, just that I'm in a different time zone. It's kind of different to be in the dark time. But yes, as I told devotees in the beginning, I'm now in Mayapur. Technically, I'm not in Mayapur. I'm in, according to old maps, I'm in Go-druma, although now Go-druma is considered to be on the other side of the Jalangi River. It seems the Jalangi has moved over time, and in I don't know how long ago, where we are now was part of Go-druma. In any case, now it's considered, I guess it's considered Shimanta. And other than that, it's called Gora Village. And it's very nice to be here. Okay, to begin with some sad news, which perhaps you have all already heard, that finally the mysterious missing Vamsi Prabhu was found, and ever so sadly, he was found in a no longer living condition in his apartment. How long he had been in his apartment before being discovered, because the apartment was locked and it was assumed that no one was there. But finally they did find. So in any case, he has moved on, as I think we all suspected, because it was just too strange that we weren't seeing or hearing from him. He liked to be with devotees. He was always coming to festivals and so on. I was recalling that we had him for, well, how long was it? I guess it was one term, which means like 2 months, maybe for 3 months. He was with us in Oxford. This would have been back around the year 2000. He was cooking for the devotees there at the student house. Well, we were busy with our studies. And what he would do in his free time, oh, Vamsi was a bit of an avadhuta, but he was also a bit of a collector of things. Actually, the technical term is hoarding, to collect things. So he would, in his free time, he would wander around Oxford collecting things that people had thrown out in dumpsters, things that he thought were somehow or other valuable. And by the end of his time that he stayed with us, his room was literally full of stuff, which then we had to remove. That's one memory I have. Not such a glorious thing, but Vamsi he liked to joke, and he, as I said, he liked to be with devotees. He was temple driver for some time in Sweden, also so many years ago, for I think the BBT. And he was a driver later, I guess, in Zagreb. And that is some of the characteristics. Vamsi was, I have to say, I think he felt quite lonely. And sometimes even in his later years, he would speak about wanting to marry, but you know, he was almost my age, so that was kind of not going to happen. Any of you here have any memory of Vamsivata that you would like to share? No? Okay. That's, as I said, it's a very sad thing for us, but we have to also consider all the service he did, all the chanting he did, kirtan. So Krishna must have some place for it. I'm even imagining, when we go back somewhere, wherever we're going to be with Krishna, there will be Vamsi with his kind of mischievous smile. And we will say, "Oh no, is it you?" Yes, I said he was a bit of a character. Okay, the next thing I want to share is a bit of, for me, happy news. And that is that yesterday, after 5.5 years, the editorial review panel of Bhaktivedanta Book Trust, of which I'm one member, completed its task of reviewing the Bhagavad Gita as it is in English language. It took us 5.5 years. Why would it take so long? Because we spent the first more than a year just compiling, just researching Srila Prabhupada's instructions on editing his books, and then creating a document with altogether 13 principles with supporting evidence from Prabhupada's instructions, 13 principles for guiding us in our task, which was not to further edit, but to advise, to give advice to the editors. The Bhaktivedanta Book Trust editors, the main editor being my dear godbrother Dravida Prabhu. Some of you know him perhaps by his amazing chanting of Sanskrit, and also he composes very sweet English rhyming poetry of Shastra. In any case, he is since ages, since decades, he's been the editor, and he's an excellent editor. And sometimes we, the editorial review panel, were not convinced by his edits. Most of them we agreed with, but some we said, no. We don't agree, and this is why we don't agree. And then we would refer to usually one, sometimes more than one of our principles. And then he would receive our recommendations, and then he would go through them, and sometimes he would agree with our disagreement of him, and he would say, yes, good point, okay. And sometimes he would say, no, 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 because of this, this, and this, and he would give his arguments why something should be as he suggested. And sometimes there would be an adjustment between the two, between his and ours, so something in, you could say, in between. But some things, when he would come back and say, no, I don't agree with you, we would say, no, we don't agree with you. Then there is another group of devotees, I think it's 3 members of the BBT, 3 trustees, I think, and 3 members of the GBC. There's a committee to make final, what's final? But anyway, final decisions. They're supposed to make the final decisions. And then we call it uplining. We send it up to them for a final decision. And we uplined a fair number of things that we didn't entirely agree on. Some of them were extremely minor, but still we felt, no, it should be not this, not, anyway. A lot of details. And as some of you know, this is highly controversial. There are those devotees who are fiercely against what we are doing, what we have done, fiercely against the editing process altogether, arguing that Srila Prabhupada left us with the Bhagavad Gita of 1972, and you shouldn't touch what an author leaves you with. Well, it's a not unreasonable argument, and yet we argue that these are special conditions, that Srila Prabhupada wanted his books edited. It was not completed at the time of his departure, and it's not that he would withdraw such an instruction. And some of us would make, I think all of us would make the point that if someone wants to wants to refer to the 1972 edition, it is available. It should not be made unavailable. It should always be available. Anyway, I'm happy, and we're happy, those of us in this group. There were altogether 7 of us in the group, including Bhanu Swami, Bhaktivigyan Goswami, Kalachandji Prabhu, Mahendra Prabhu, and Madan Mohan Prabhu, and Krishna Rupa Mataji, and myself. Did I miss anyone? And we're all happy that it's over because it's taken quite a bit of time over these years. Yeah, I was explaining why it took so long. It took us a year, more than a year, just to make these principles. And then as we got started, we found that it was not going to be possible for us to meet more frequently than once every 2 weeks for a period of 2 hours each time, because we have other commitments. And because we are spread all over the globe, so to coordinate time was always a challenge. It was with Kalachandji in Central Western America, and some of us in Europe, sometimes some in India, and Krishna Rupa Mataji in Australia. So the time zone issue was always a challenge. Some of us on either end. Europe was always easy, but far west and far east, some were getting up and starting a meeting at 4 in the morning sometimes, and some were having a meeting at 10 o'clock at night. Yeah. So anyway, that's all done. Hare Krishna. Maybe one or another of you has a question about this editing, because, as I said, it's been a bit or very controversial. We probably haven't heard the end of the controversy. Let's see, darling, this must be maybe Sanga. You said that Krishna Lila is still going on in creation, that we are not with Srila Prabhupada, though we know that our hearts are eternally connected. We know that Srila Prabhupada Lila is going on in another place. Someone is very much enjoying the company of our dear Srila Prabhupada. Can we also think of us in this way? If she is still charming others with his subtle smile now. Can we think that Srila Prabhupada is still with us? Well, yes. I mean, Prabhupada said specifically in connection with this instruction that the disciples who are following the instructions of the Guru is present. And yeah, devotees, I think if you would say, well, no, Prabhupada is completely gone, we would have to disagree, isn't it? We have this sense that he is present, and in various ways for those who are, let's say, receptive, he is very much giving guidance. Johannes, your hand is up.
Yes, Sar Krishna Maharaj, pranams to everyone. In relation to this, because it's very interesting to me, this whole issue of sort of editing and potentially changing or making changes. At the risk of getting you to talk about even more controversial topics, I wanted to ask about how you think about other translations of the Gita. For example, I'm looking at H.D. Goswami's Bhagavad Gita in my bookshelf right now. And I'm hearing H.D. Goswami's commentary and the summary and translation that he put out. Yes, that I think you maybe wrote even a foreword to or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or I wrote an endorsement, maybe. I don't remember.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering how do you see the role of other translations or different translations, particularly the ones coming from disciples of Prabhupada, in the role of both outreach and inreach in ISKCON? Because I'm doing training with Think Gita, Kesava Maharaj's program right now, to be like a facilitator. So I'm thinking a lot about how to convey the message of the Gita in an accessible way. So that's the reason for my question.
Yeah, good question. I see no problem. Hridayananda Maharaj, he calls his a literal translation. And indeed, it is quite literal. It's not always totally literal because it's really sometimes very difficult to make something in Sanskrit into totally literal English. But mostly it's quite literal. And I use it. Most of my, in this latest book, Yoga and Animal Ethics, mostly I use his translations for the translations of the Gita, which I include in that book. There's not a whole lot. There's, I don't know, 4, 5, 6, 7 verses. Another point is that Srila Prabhupada said something quite interesting, maybe even a little surprising about the translations of the verses. For his own Bhagavad Gita as it is, he said the translations, the verses, are not so important. You can take, he told his editor, he told Hayagriva, his first, not his very first, but his, I guess, second editor. He said, you know, you can use Dr. Radhakrishna's translations, because what's important, what was for Prabhupada important, was the purports. So you'll find any number of variations in the translations, but you can't really go too far away from what it actually means. The Sanskrit is mostly quite simple, fairly straightforward, and so it's meant to be understood. You know, Krishna wants not only Arjuna but the rest of us to understand. And of course, the purports are there also. I wrote a review, where was that published? Several years ago, I wrote a review article reviewing and comparing 2 translations of the Gita, one by my godbrother Garuda Prabhu, and one by Laurie Patton, a very respected scholar. She published with Penguin, her translation. And also they're, you know, both of them very good, and they're different. I find it can be very interesting to see the different translations and consider, you know, they're giving different shades of meaning. And the way I see it, the Sanskrit enables that, and that's the richness of the Sanskrit, that you can appreciate some of these different nuances. Yeah. Yeah, that's nice that you're, what is this program called you're attending?
It's a training to be a facilitator for Think Gita. So the idea is that they want programs in every possible language, essentially, for sort of a walkthrough of the Gita over 38 weeks, I think it is. So we'll be online meeting once a week, and then there's a facilitator that is training to play the role of now. So I'm doing that.
Oh, very good. And it's Swami Bhagavan Keshava Maharaj who leads that. Okay.
Yes. So there's an online platform for videos, and then there's some meetups somewhere. I've been to a few in Leeds where I've been there, but the main program is a weekly sort of live Zoom meeting in different languages. So that's what this training is.
Very nice. I like the title. It's a catchy title. Think Gita.
Yeah, the subtitle sort of the project is, if you want a new idea, then read an old book.
Yeah, that's the kind of thing Keshava Maharaj would come up with. Nice. Good. So, yeah, that's my personal thought. And that's one reason I can't understand why devotees get all heated about the editing of Prabhupada's books. On the other side, I can also understand it. It has a certain flavor. And why should we lose that? And therefore I say, and I said it to Garuda Prabhu, my godbrother, he's this, this is his mission, is to stop the editing and go back to the 72 edition. And I said to him, why not have both? Why not? Why either or? Why not both and? But he wasn't convinced. What? Okay. Anyone else? Anything? Let's see. Okay, good. What else is new? I have a book to show. I have lots of books here to show, but this one I think is fun. Show and tell, right? This is Calcutta, City of Divine Grace, an historical memoir of the period 1510 to 1977 by Rajashekar Das Brahmachari, the late Rajashekar Das Brahmachari. And it's just a very, it's a large format book. It has quite a lot of photos in it, including photos from around the time Srila Prabhupada was, from before he was born and also when he was a young child. We're getting the sound of Akbar. Where is it? Here we go. Yeah, it has photos of the British part of Calcutta from earlier time. When Srila Prabhupada was growing up, he would have experienced all of this. They're trying to shut out the sound of the mosques making their 7 o'clock call to prayer. From here you can hear at least 4, I think, and they all come on at the same time. Surround sound, yeah. Yeah. It reminds one of Sarajevo. Okay, enough from me, I think. What else? What else? Oh, Anisa, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Guru Maharaj. Please
Hare
accept my
Krishna.
humble obeisances.
Hare-
I thought I'd share. We were hearing in class today from Adi Lila, chapter 12, verse 42. And that was about Sachi Mata being chastised by Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu for accusing Sri Advaita for taking Mahaprabhu away from her.
Was it accusing for taking Chaitanya Mahaprabhu or for taking his older brother?
Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, if I'm not mistaken.
It said specific, okay.
Yeah.
I don't remember. Yeah.
And specifically in the purport, I'm sorry, I'm kind of just paraphrasing, but in the purport it was mentioning apparently it was her feminine nature that was kind of bringing up about this response. And I asked the question to the Prabhu today about Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's relationship with that feminine nature, because I was expressing how, especially not having a kind of relationship with Chaitanya Charitamrita, it's sort of maybe a bit harder for someone in a female body to relate with Lord Chaitanya. And I was just asking if one in a female body could maybe relate more with his pastimes by analyzing his relationship with his mother. And he was sharing about recommending to hear more about Lord Chaitanya Navadvip and how generally we don't worship Lord Chaitanya in his sannyas form, but with him with his long hair.
Yeah.
So I thought I'd be curious to hear what you think about Lord Chaitanya being relatable to women.
Relatable to women. Well, it's of course, in a way it's completely simple, and in another way it's completely complicated. If we take the external Lord Chaitanya as a sannyasi, then of course he's Krishnadas Kaviraj is emphasizing that he was very strict about keeping a distance, you can say. Before he took sannyas, he's identified as a householder. It's kind of funny, it says he was a householder the first 24 years. Well, he was kind of a brahmachari, I would think, first, but anyway. He did marry, and he didn't marry just once, he married twice. Because Lakshmi Priya departed very soon after their marriage. Lakshmi Priya. Then he very soon after that married Vishnu Priya. And well, what can we say? There has been some poetry, songs, I think books, which elaborate about Vishnupriya and her devotion to Mahaprabhu and her mood of separation after he takes sannyas. I don't know, we don't hear about this in our particular tradition, our sampradaya. So I don't know if those writings, some of them may be considered uppa sampradaya. I can't really say, I haven't studied that. But I do know some years ago I came across one or two books in Bengali that were devoted to this subject of Vishnupriya and Gauranga. And yes, there are also songs about Shachimata's, you know, her viraha, her feelings of separation from her son when he takes sannyas. That's also, there's, you know, this kind of mood of heartbreak is there. But as I understand, it's always is a dangerous word, but practically always emphasizing this mood of separation, of absence. So yeah, that's what comes to my mind. I'm not really knowledgeable beyond that point.
Thank you, that's nice. The mood of absence, and that's why it was very sweet how we opened the Sangha. Thank you.
Is this a good idea that we continue with Chaitanya Mangala as I started?
I think so. It's very sweet.
Right. Okay, so your vote is in favor. Okay. Good. All right. Hare Krishna. What else? Anyone? So from my side, I'm thinking a little about Bhagavatam 11th canto, and the reason I'm thinking about it is devotees have asked me to give it the morning Bhagavatam class for the Russian devotees here in Mayapur on Monday morning. And they gave me a verse. Let's see if I have it here. This is 31. Okay. So I'm gonna prime the pump, my own pump, by sharing so this is in chapter 3 of the 11th canto, and they are answers to questions by Maharaj Nimi. The verse they want me to discuss is this one. Kvacit rudanty acyuta-cintayā kvacit hasanti nandanti vadanty alaukikāḥ nṛtyanti gāyanty anuśīlayanty bhavanti tūṣṇīṁ param etya nirvṛtāḥ. Having achieved love of Godhead, the devotees sometimes weep, which means cry, loudly absorbed in thought of the infallible Lord. Sometimes they laugh, feel great pleasure, speak out loud to the Lord. That's interesting. Dance or sing. Such devotees, having transcended material conditioned life, sometimes imitate the unborn Supreme by acting out his pastimes, and sometimes achieving his personal audience, they remain peaceful and silent. It's a very rich verse, describing devotees in a very, as we say, ecstatic state. And the purport, which I believe was composed by Hridayananda Goswami, he's basically referring to Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur's commentary. He says, regarding rudanty, the devotees cry, thinking, quote, "Another day has passed and still I could not obtain Krishna. Then what will I do? Where will I go? From whom shall I inquire? And who can possibly help me reach Krishna?" We might want to say there's quite a good number of songs by Bhaktivinoda Thakur expressing such feelings. Hasanti, it is late at night. So he's picturing this scene. It is late at night. The sky is dark. And Krishna is determined to steal from the house of one of the elderly gopis. He is hiding underneath a tree in the corner of the courtyard belonging to one of the cowherd men. Although Krishna thinks that he is completely concealed, hidden, he suddenly hears a voice from one of the elderly members of the family. "Who are you there? Who are you?" I say. Who are you, I say. Thus, Krishna has been caught and he begins to flee the courtyard. He runs away. When this humorous scene is revealed to the devotee begins to laugh heartily. So Vishwanath Chakravarti is just picturing a scene of a devotee meditating on Krishna and visualizing this situation of Krishna getting caught, and he laughs when he sees. Nandanti, when Krishna actually reveals his transcendental form to the devotee experiences the highest transcendental bliss. And vadanti, the devotee says to the Lord, "Oh Krishna, after so many days, I have finally achieved you." Let's see, he also quotes Sridhar Swami. He's explaining, what is he explaining? Ajam Harim. Nṛtyanti. Ajam. Okay, he's explaining. So commentaries typically explain individual words. It's one of their common things they do. So here, Sridhar Swami says, Ajam Harim, anuśīlayanti ta lilam abhinayanti. Oh, anuśīlayanti is also in the verse. Yes, okay. Anuśīlayanti ajam. And Prabhupada gives, Prabhupada, the BBT devotees, Anuśīlayanty means and imitate. They imitate the Lord. And he's explaining why they use that. Ajam harim anuśīlayanty ta līlam abhinayanti. So this will give you a little idea how commentaries work. They're always very compact with their words. So ajam harim. Now, what's happening here is he's saying ajam means Hari, means the Lord. But all he says is ajam harim. It doesn't even use the present verb to be, is in English. It doesn't say ajam harim asti. It just says ajam harim. And the reader understands. That means ajam means Hari. And then he takes another word from the verse, anuśīlayanty. Okay, that's the word. And now he's giving the meaning. Ta līlam abhinayanti. So he's giving another verb, abhinayanti, which means to perform, something like that. To perform what? Līlam, pastimes, of who? Tat. And tat, it becomes tal just because of Sandhi, refers to Hari, refers to him. It's typical shorthand. It's used a lot. It can be quite annoying sometimes. What is he referring to? But here it's quite obvious. It's referring to Hari. So abhinayanti, they perform the lila of him. That's his explanation of anuśīlayanty. And then his translation, I think Hridayananda Maharaj's translation is, anuśīlayanti indicates that out of extreme ecstasy, the devotees sometimes imitate or act out the pastimes of the Supreme Lord. Okay, he's adding a few things in here. There's nothing about extreme ecstasy in this, what he's putting here. But, okay, why would they act out? Because of extreme ecstasy. And maybe that's in another part of the verse. Tūṣṇīṁ nirvṛtāḥ. Not directly, but it's kind of there. Okay, I'm just priming my own pump. This is coming kind of at the end of a series of verses. Let's see if I can get to the list of verses. Yeah. So that was verse 32. And I would say that it's part of a series which begins, in a sense, begins with verse 21. And this verse, Srila Prabhupada quotes quite a lot. Tasmat gurum prapadyeta jignasushe uttamam shabde pare chanishnatam brahman yupashamashayam. Therefore, any person who seriously desires real happiness must seek a bona fide spiritual master and take shelter of him by initiation. The qualifications of the bona fide guru is that he has realized the conclusions of the scriptures by deliberation and is able to convince others of these conclusions. Such great personalities who have taken shelter of the Supreme Godhead, leaving aside all material considerations, should be understood to be bona fide spiritual master. So this tasmat is giving a and few details of that, how to do that, but then comes this kind of turning point. Therefore, tasmat gurun prapadyeta. One should take shelter of a guru, and then it describes what is the qualification of the guru. Shabde parichanishnatam brahmanipashamashraya. And the qualification of the disciple, also jigyasu, desiring to know, shreya uttamam, the highest good, the highest benefit. Okay, and then after this, it's giving kind of a list of things that the disciple should do under the guidance of the guru. And what strikes me about this is it's kind of a summary. It's almost like in case the guru doesn't himself know how to instruct the disciple about what to do, here, we'll help you out. So verses 21 through 31 or 30, and then 31 suggests now the devotees really know what to do. Devotees of the Lord constantly discuss the glories of the personality of Godhead among themselves. Thus they constantly remember. So now it's describing devotees who are, they've been following the Guru, and therefore they've become very skilled in devotional practices. And therefore they can always remember the Lord. And then the Lord helps them. He removes what's inauspicious, being purified of all impediments, all obstacles. Then pure love of Godhead comes. And then their bodies exhibit symptoms of transcendental ecstasy. That comes here. Smarantas, smarayantas cha mito agoga haram harim. Aga and oga. Bhaktya sanjataya bhaktya vibhratyutpuluta utpulakang tanum. The tanum, their body, is utpulakam. It's bristling with ecstasy. Why? Because bhakti has awakened, has arisen. Bhaktya sanjataya and bhaktya vibhrati, by possessing bhakti. Anyway, so the point is, it's giving a kind of compact description of the process of bhakti, and then comes this verse, which I'm supposed to discuss on Monday, which is quite an amazing verse. So there you go. Which reminds me, dare I say, that we're in November 8th, and that means 3 more weeks, right? Let's look at the calendar. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, 3 weeks till December 1st. 3 weeks and 1 day. Why do I say anything about 3 weeks and 1 day? Anyone want to guess? Reflections. 17 have sent already, so that's very nice. Thank you all who have already sent a reflection. I sent my reflection. Yeah. Okay, right. That's it. Gita-kshetra. What about Gita-kshetra? Is that on the first? No. What's the date of Gita-kshetra this year?
Thursday.
1st of December. Oh, what a perfect day to by which to have sent a reflection, 4th canto Bhagavatam. Now you're all becoming very knowledgeable of the 4th canto. You'll be able to give, you'll be able to facilitate. Instead of think Gita, it'll be think 4th canto. So I don't want to keep you from that activity. You can immediately run to your typewriter, computer, pencil and paper, and get writing with your 4th canto. 4th canto in one hand and writing utensil in the other hand. Everyone's being silent about this. I'm starting to sound like what we call a broken record. In the old days, they had these vinyl long play records. Actually, they're coming back, I heard. It's becoming popular again. Because they're analog, it's different, finer from digital. Anyway, a broken record means there's a scratch, and so it would play sometimes, and it would jump every time it would come around once. The needle would jump back. Sometimes that could happen. So I'm starting to sound like a broken record. So I'll stop there and say thank you all again for joining us. I think we can meet next Saturday also. Should be possible. So I wish you all a great week. Chant, be happy, stay safe, stay sane. Do we want one more Navadvip verse before to end with? Why not? Shrutis chandokya vadati paramang brahmapurakam smritir vaikuntakyam vadati kila yat vishnu sadanam sitadvipam chanye viraharasiko yam vrajavanam navadvipam vande paramasukadam tam chiduditam. I offer respects to spiritual Navadvipa, which bestows the highest happiness, which the Chandogya Upanishad calls the supreme city of Brahman, which the Smritis call Vaikuntha, the abode of Vishnu, which others call Shvetadvipa, and which the rare rasikas call nṛtyanti. Interesting. That's a nice verse. So Navadvip bestows happiness. What is that happiness? It's the happiness of Brahmapura, according to the Chandogya Upanishad. It is the happiness of Vaikuntha, according to Smriti. And it's the abode of Shvetadvip, also in the Smritis. And it is the happiness of the rare rasikas, Bhajamas tam, no, Navadvipam vande paramasukadam tam charitam, chanye virala rasiko yam rajavanam. So these rare souls, that happiness is the happiness of Vrindavan. Jai. Thank you all so much. Special thanks to our translators. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai, Samavita Bhakta Vrinda ki jai, Gaur
Gurudev ki jai.
His Holiness Krishna-kshetra
Very
Swami
much.
ki jai.
Yeah, Gurudev.
Thank
Slava Nima.
На преводу.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Guru Maharaj.
Assembly
Thank
devotees,
you very
all
much.
Hare Krishna.